Now, my brothers and sisters, we are in James chapter 2, verse 2. Reading from the King James Version, quote, "For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring, in goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment," unquote. Now that ends with a semicolon, which means that it's the beginning of a sentence. But we're going to take a look into this. We're going to go ahead and parse this out. For if there come. When you're looking at the Greek meaning, you want to find out, did the author of the book or the writing use this phrase any other place? And he does not. In James 2:2, he uses it twice. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring in goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment. It is also used by John in 2 John chapter 1 verse 10. Quote, "If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed," unquote. It is used also in the book of Revelations 9:12. Quote, "One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter," unquote. So let's take a look at this. We're going to parse this. This is in the second aorist tense, active voice, subjective mood. Let's run through this. Second aorist tense is identical in meaning in translation to the normal or first aorist tense. The only difference in this form of spelling the words in Greek, and there is no effect upon English translation. So what is aorist? Aorist tense is characterized by its emphasis on punctual action. That is, the concept of the verb is considered without regard for past, present, or future time. So this tense does not have time as being past, present, or future. The voice that this is written in is the active voice. Represents the subject as the doer, performer of the action. And the mood is subjective. The subjective mood is the mood of possibilities and potentiality. The action described may or may not occur depending on the circumstances. That is the subjective mood. So what do we have going on here? There come. It's written as second aorist, so there's no past, present, future as far as this goes. This is it's right now. There come. Active, it's you. Subjective, there's a possibility this may or may not happen. So let's read this in conjunction with that. For if there come unto your assembly a man. Now the phrase a man is used by James 4 other times. James 2:14, quote, "What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he has faith, and hath not works? Can faith save him?" unquote. Use it again in James 2:18, quote, "Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works," unquote. James 2:24, quote, "Ye see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only," unquote. And lastly, quote, "Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months," unquote. James 5:17. Peter uses it in 1 Peter 2:19, quote, "For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongly." Going further down into the phrase, quote, "there come in," unquote. It's only used 3 times in this verse by James and then by Paul. 1 Corinthians 14:23, King James Version, quote, "If therefore the whole world be come together into one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come in those that are unlearned or unbelievers, will they not say that ye are all mad?" unquote. Again in 1 Corinthians 14:24, quote, "But if all prophecy and there come in one that believe not, or and one unlearned, he is convinced of all. He is judged of all, unquote. That's the 3 times that this phrase is used in the King James Version of the Bible. And when you go and you parse that out, they come in, remember it's second aorist, active, subjective, just like it was above. Going down, a poor man. This is used several times in the Bible, and literally it does mean someone who is financially poor. So, the verse is, "For if there come in unto your assembly a man with a gold ring in goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment." That's the verse we're looking at. Let's look and see what John Gill has to say on this matter. Quote, "For if there come unto your assembly," unquote, the place of religious worship where saints are assembled together for that purpose, though some think a civil court of judicature is intended, and to the context seems to incline, see James chapter 2, verse 6, quote, "But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you, and draw you before the judgment seats?" Unquote. Quote, "A man with a gold ring," unquote, on his finger, which shows him to be a man of dignity and wealth. So those of the Eastern orders among the Romans were distinguished from the common people by wearing gold rings, though in time the use of them became promiscuous. The ancient used to wear but one, as here but one is mentioned, and only freemen, not servants, may wear it. However, by this circumstances, the apostle describes a rich man, adding, quote, "in goodly apparel," unquote, gay clothing, bright, shining garment, glistering with gold and silver, very rich and costly, as well as whole, neat, and clean. Quote, "And there come in also a poor man in vile raiment," unquote, mean and despicable, filthy and ragged. In the courts, the judicature with the Jews, 2 men who were at law with one another might not have different apparel on while they were in the court, and their cause was trying. Their law runs thus, quote, "2 adversaries at law with each other. If one of them is clothed with precious garments, goodly apparel, and the other is clothed with vile raiment, the judge says to the honorable person, either clothe him as thou art, while thou contendest with him, or be clothed as he is, that he may be alike or on an equal foot," unquote. That is the end of James chapter 2, verse 2, commentary by John Gill. This also ends Discovering the Scriptures, James 2, verse 2.